All right, one of the biggest questions for Georgia entering the NFL draft was where's Stetson Bennett going to be taken? Where is he going to be drafted at all? He ends up going in the fourth round to the Los Angeles Rams. A lot of people thought that if he was going to get drafted, that he was going to slip to round 6 or 7, mainly, due to a few things, due to the off-field stuff, due to his size, due to his age. He's not necessarily what you look for in a quarterback prospect, at least according to the stereotypes. The stereotypes of the people like Trevor Lawrence, right? Like the 6'5" guys with the cannon, all the tools, younger. So Stetson doesn't fit that bill. Yet he was just a fourth round selection as a quarterback. He's a two-time national champion. And he was the starting quarterback for those teams. He is a Heisman finalist, obviously. He has a lot of credentials to be drafted in the NFL. And guess what? I think the Rams are a great situation for Stetson Bennett. At the end of the day, I think the Rams, this is one of the best situations I think he could have ended up in. And this for a lot of reasons. Real quick, Ryan Curley from DAWGS here talking about Stetson Bennett and his fit on the Rams. Look at that guy. Look at that guy. He is the cover of Double Dogs. Dog Structure and Keely Ringo, obviously drafted by the Eagles. Make sure you're checking those books out. You're just not going to find anything else like it. Keepsakes, insider stuff about Georgia's national championship runs. All those links are down below that you need for that. Stetson, and you know what? What's out on top of it? On top of the fact that I think it's a great fit, they drafted Warren McClendon as well. So he at least has one familiar face, right? A teammate, someone that can go there and be there with him and fight through that process of trying to make roster spots and trying to fight for playing time. He's got Warren McClendon with him, someone obviously he's at least a little bit close to, right? I don't know what their exact relationship is, but Stetson, the Rams, if you look it up on ESPN, he's second on their depth chart behind Matthew Stafford. All right, I guess they don't have anyone else under contract right now. Matthew Stafford, former Dog, they obviously have a relationship. Matthew Stafford was in Los Angeles at SoFi Stadium when Georgia won the national championship a few months ago. There's videos, there's pictures of him and Stetson talking. So I think it's good that he ends up with a former Dog, a guy that cares for him, roots for him, So I think this is a good situation for Stetson. Sean McVay, one of the best offensive minds in the sport, right? They're Super Bowl champs. I think that there aren't a lot of spots that were really better for him, right? So he's going to a place where there are familiar faces, there are people who want him to succeed. The scheme is great. All right. I don't know what the deal is with the future of Matthew Stafford. I don't know, what his plans are, if he wants to be a Ram forever, if, what level is he playing at? Look, he didn't play a lot last year, and he didn't play well last year. Now, I'm not saying Stetson Bennett is going to go in and win this job all of a sudden, and I'm not predicting an injury for Matthew Stafford, but what we talked about is Stetson needs the right opportunity, right? And this feels like a really good one for him because he's going to go in. He's immediately going to compete to be the backup quarterback. I don't think that's a question. He's immediately going to compete to be Matthew Stafford's backup. Whether he ends up being the Rams QB2 or not, he's going to get an opportunity to fight for that as a fourth-round draft pick. He's going into an offensive system that has produced a lot of great players, great productive seasons, and they won a Super Bowl. And he's going in with a friend. Look, for him, I really think you couldn't have asked for much better. I mean, look around the league. I think that you don't get to choose who you're drafted by, most times unless you're like Eli Manning. But making the best of the situations is always the best thing, right? Was Georgia the best situation for Stetson Bennett? It ended up being that. Right, but it wasn't necessarily when he first got there. It turned into that. So getting drafted into good situations matters, right? At the end of the day, did Trevor Lawrence get drafted into a great situation? No. All right. Did Justin Fields get drafted into a great situation? No, he didn't. So I think that Stetson is not being drafted in the capacity of the way those guys were, where, hey, we're taking you with the top pick overall. We're taking you a top 15 pick overall. You're the future of our franchise. This is why we're picking you here as to be our future quarterback. Now, I don't know if the Rams picked Stetson for that reason. I don't know if it was a depth play. At the end of the day, I don't know what the reasons are that the Rams took Stetson Bennett. I can tell you what some of them are. His 4,000-yard season, his 10 rushing touchdowns, his winning pedigree, his ability to fight and, not really ever go away. Stetson Bennett just never really seemed to go away for the Georgia Bulldogs. That's, at the end of the day, that's the truth. And that's that's what the Rams are getting. I think they're getting a guy whose athleticism was always slept on. He clearly can move around. I mean, how many quarterbacks can run for a 64-yard touchdown against an SEC defense? More and more nowadays. But who knew? Did you think that Stetson was going to be able to do something like that before it happened? He's made big-time plays in big-time moments. I think as a football player, his jump in 2021 to 2022 was extreme. I thought he would be better when he came back, but I didn't think he was going to be as good as he was. At the end of the day, he was really, really good. And I think, to me, it came as a slight surprise how good he was. I knew he'd be better. I knew that he was fit to be the starting quarterback at Georgia, but his jump was a little extreme to me. And he gets the Heisman Trophy, and they go 15-0. And I can't remember how many games he started in 2021. It wasn't all 15. It was 12, I believe, right? If I'm right, I think he was 11-1, and then he was 15-0 as a starter in those 2 years at Georgia. The Rams picked someone who's a winning football player, and I think it's great that the whole teammate concept, drafting college teammates, does work in a capacity. The Eagles went very extreme, and we'll see how it works for them. I think it will, just because they're all really talented football players. But, drafting Stetson and Warren McClendon, giving people a familiar face. We've seen how those connections work. Obviously, quarterback to wide receiver is a lot easier to judge, and those have been working. But from a culture standpoint, it's good. Stetson, I think this is a great landing spot for him. Tell me what you think. Links are down below. I want to hear your thoughts as well. Thanks for watching.